Hello, I am Matthew Phillips of Streeter, Illinois. This is my elevator speech for my new topic. I am focusing on the editorial rhetoric of the Chicago Tribune during World War II. My research questions include: how did the editorial rhetoric of the Chicago Tribune evolve from isolationism to reluctant wartime engagement during World War II? What does this reveal about the newspaper's descent in public opinion in a period of growing national unity? My working thesis statement is that the Chicago Tribune was a leading voice of American isolationism in the early years of World War II. It resisted intervention, criticized President Roosevelt's leadership and policies, and upheld national dissent. Its gradual shift from isolationism to reluctant wartime engagement reveals the persistence of domestic opposition and challenges the myth of a unified American wartime consensus. The Chicago Tribune is recognized by scholars as an oppositional newspaper to FDR, his administration, and his policies. Scholars typically mention the Chicago Tribune when addressing the dissent of the press. Major works that come close to analyzing the editorial rhetoric of the Chicago Tribune tend to focus on Robert R. McCormick, also known as the Colonel. He was the founder of the newspaper. My paper will solely focus on the editorial rhetoric of the Chicago Tribune to show its persistent dissent in the early stages of the war and how the newspaper transitioned into reluctant wartime engagement later in the war, especially after the Pearl Harbor attacks and for the rest of the conflict. My paper will contribute to the field by examining just the editorials of the newspaper, which have never been focused on in great detail in the historiography of the newspaper. This will advance the work of previous scholars by focusing intently on the editorials of the newspaper to show its persistent dissent and transition to reluctant wartime engagement.